On this episode, Belle Vista. It's a high-profile, water-sensitive urban design case study site with great streetscape bioretention systems, but the plants have all died. Let's take a look at why. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Ideanthro, where today we are looking at the bioretention systems, the streetscape bioretention systems at Belle Vista on the Sunshine Coast. Now, Belle Vista was a really high-profile water-sensitive urban design development, been held up as a really good case study for years and years. We talked about it in the last episode because the way that the lot layout, the streetscape layout was done, those systems are really nicely integrated into the urban fabric. However, fast forward 10 years later, or however long exactly it is, the plants have all died in the filter media of those systems. And being a high profile case study, this raises a question, is there something fundamentally wrong here? If this is the sort of site where people got so much right about this, and yet this thing still hasn't worked, is there something fundamentally wrong with this bioretention thing that we keep talking about? And do we need to adjust course? Do we need to figure this out? So in this episode, I'm going to delve into that. So quick recap, we go to the computer here. We have Caloundra, 1 hour north of Brisbane. I'm trying to be quick in this episode because my computer's about to run out of battery. 1 hour north of Brisbane, Caloundra over here, Belle Vista over here that we spoke about in the last episode, Bells Reach, which is a little bit newer over here, but we're going to zoom into Belle Vista. And in the last episode, we looked at this intersection here on Feathertop Circuit, where there's a bioretention system at the top of the T that we're going to look at, and 2 on the sides of the T. So let's go take a look at it. And here we have it. This is the system, and as you can see, it's bare in the middle. That's a problem. There's plants around the edge. I'm going to delve in. I have a sneaking suspicion that I know why this system is bare in the middle, and I'm going to dig into why that is the case and why ultimately it doesn't super concern me. I don't think there's a fundamental problem here. So what do we know about this system? Well, first up, we know that there are almost no plants growing in this particular system. There are some lomandra. You can just see those lomandra here. There are also a few little weeds coming up into the system. We also know that this system has developed a little bit of a sedimenty kind of wet crust on top of it, but you can dig through it. It's very, very shallow and you can dig through it very easily. We also know that the system is not blocked because it's not ponding water and there's no obvious sinkholes in it that would, even if it was blocked up on the surface, would allow it to drain. So what does this mean for us figuring out why this system is the way it is? Well, the first thing that we can say from this is the plants haven't died because they were drowned by water. If the system was ponding water, we might go, the reason why there's no plants in here is because they were all terrestrial plants, as they should be in a bioretention system. They were all terrestrial plants and they got drowned out when the system clogged up. But we know that it's not clogged because there's no water in it and there's no short circuiting. Sorry about that. I told you the battery was running low. So there's no short circuiting, so we know it's not water ponding in this system. So we know that's not why the plants are dead. Well, the next thing that we can look at here is the fact that, I know there's not many plants in this, but there are plants in it, and that's really important. We can see that there are lomandras growing in it, and we can also see in this other photo here that there are little weeds popping up. And what this tells us is clearly the filter media is hospitable to plants to grow in. Because one reason plants might not be in there is if you just installed straight beach sand, well, clearly that's going to be really saline, not going to hold any water. It's a terrible spot for plants to grow. But in this instance, we can look at this photograph here and go, okay, there's not lots of organics in it, but there are some fine particles. It is pretty sandy though. We're just going to hold on to some water and combine that with the fact that there are some little weeds popping up here, plus there is a lomandra alive in it, says, okay, even if there's nothing growing in it, stuff can grow in this system. So the question then becomes, well, why? Why has that happened the way that it has? And here's where I have a little bit of history. I, years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, was told that when these systems were first built, which is like a decade or so ago, there was no original maintenance budget on the council. When they were handed over to council, there wasn't a dedicated maintenance budget for this initially, and they got a little bit unruly. And at some point in the past, I've been told that council came in and slashed the plants in the middle of these basins. Now that's clearly not going to have made the plants particularly happy, but it's also importantly going to have allowed some light to get down to the filter media and probably then caused more weeds to start germinating. Because it's an urban area, there would have been a seed bank in there just waiting for some light to try and germinate. The slashing has probably caused light to get to the filter media, weeds to germinate, and they've started to get up and started to take over. At which point, I suspect that councillors had to start trying to manage those weeds, and it's probably been herbicide used in here. And the problem with using herbicide in these systems is you can see how, I've seen, actually we did an episode a while back on Ideanthro with Ben Penhaluric, where he explained to me from his ecological like restoration, regeneration experience, he explained to me how when you continually spray an area with herbicide, the soil starts to, it's like always exposed to the sun, it starts to really degrade, it loses all its organic matter, it goes really nasty, and I think we can see a little bit of that potentially happening in here over time, becoming a bit hospitable, just this kind of baked out look that you get in these systems. This tends to me to suggest that there's a bunch of herbicide being sprayed in here. And so what I think's happened, and the fact that there's a Lamandra left suggests that this is right. I suspect what's happened is that accidentally too much herbicide overspray has been used in here. Oh, the battery's getting lower. It's a race to the end. Herbicide's been used in here. It's accidentally killed off the desirable plants. I have previously seen an older photo of this system where there were carrocks, I believe it was a little bit of a dodgy photo, planted in the middle, but then around the edge there were species that are much more well known as like landscaping species, like your Lamandras, some Banksias around the edge. And I think this is just a simple case of, you know, accidentally maintenance not doing the right thing and accidentally knocking these plants off. Now, I do not know that for sure, and if you have better knowledge of exactly what happened in this system, by all means, hit me up, let me know. We'll make another video and fill in as much gap as we can, because it's all really useful information, a useful learning experience. But if I'm correct about this, and we'll say it as if, we'll be really clear, this isn't if, this is me doing some of this forensic engineering that Andrew O'Neill from Healthy Waterways and I like to talk about, where we are coming to a system, trying to find all the evidence we can and put together the most likely scenario of what's happened over that system's life. If this is the case and it is accidental overspray that's caused this, what that means is we shouldn't be super concerned. The fundamental technology with bioretention systems is not at fault here. This is a management issue. And if we want to solve this, we just need to continue to keep working on management and get on top of this stuff. Because ultimately the root cause right back at the beginning of this is the fact that there wasn't a maintenance budget to begin looking after it in the right way from the beginning, and it's all spiraled from that. So let's get that right. Sweet. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Ideanthro. I hope that you enjoyed it. As always, if you have ideas, if you have topics you'd like to explore, if you have questions, by all means get in touch. We would love to make episodes to address those. We'd love to have you on as a guest if you've got something you think that you can share. There's a few ways to get in contact. Number one, www.ideanthro.com. There is a contact us page there. You can find us that way. You can find us on YouTube by searching Ideanthro, and you can find us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Ideanthro. Hit us up in the comments on either Facebook or YouTube, or send us a message via the website. Thank you for tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed. Have a good day. I nearly said afternoon. Of course, I'm recording in the afternoon. You could be watching anywhere. This is the wonders of the internet. Have a good day. We'll see you next time.